One of the things that we're seeing is that whether you're a large organization, a huge conglomerate, or a small, even micro business, at the end of the day you have employees, and the awareness of those employees are one of the most critical aspects and key risks that could be to your organization. So many different types of attacks, cyber attacks, are actually coming into the organization from the employee, from the individual employee. The more that you raise awareness on an individual level within your organization, the more you raise your overall resilience to the entire business as a whole. That's one of the key elements that we keep positioning and we keep talking about, and we keep seeing in the market as well. That, alongside your vendors, your suppliers, your third parties that you work with, look at the entire picture of the threats to your organization. The rest is actual manifestations of attacks. But if you're keeping your employees with high awareness and high resilience, and if you're looking at your overall ecosystem and assessing your overall vendor and supplier ecosystem, that allows you to really keep your internal resilience at a high level. Governments have a lot of opportunity to increase the ecosystem resilience and the digital resilience of their markets and their specific companies that are under their jurisdiction. We see it as a responsibility or an opportunity for the government to make services that were up until recently not accessible or not understandable for many small and even medium businesses, make them much more available, much more localized, and in that way provide a combination of both products and services and a way to support those businesses if and when they will get attacked, more likely when they get attacked, by a combination of mitigation of different types of different risks and also transference of risks. And by that, the government actually has, government and even local government and municipality, they have an ability to increase their, again, ecosystem resilience by having also cyber insurance brought into place and having different ways to support businesses, not just in securing themselves, but perhaps even more importantly, in recovery and going back to business as soon as possible and as immediately as possible to make sure that those businesses, mostly the smaller ones, do not get impacted for a long period of time. I think that at the end of the day, one of the things that we're seeing a lot of good feedback coming in from the market is, going back to maybe one of the points that I raised earlier, is that multi-tier approach to assessing the overall, again, digital ecosystem of your business. Because as a business, or as a government, right, in this case, if you are only looking internally and assessing yourself only internally, making sure you're up to a specific standard or regulation or so on, you're only doing part of the solution. And if you're looking at the multi-tiered approach of doing perhaps deep dive assessments and deep dive analysis of your internal most critical elements and environments and entities, and then afterwards looking at your critical vendors, your suppliers, all the way down to the consumer level, you have the ability to, again, stating my point, increasing the overall resilience, if you will, making sure that the entire ecosystem has their head above the water, and making sure that when the water level rises, and they rise all the time in the security world, you need to make sure that your head stays above those water. So I think at the end of the day, if we're tying it also to what I discussed, don't think of yourself just as a single person. You're part of an ecosystem, you're part of a society, you're part of some sort of a group, right? And your actions have implications that are beyond just you. And that applies to cybersecurity, that applies to any part of your social aspect, right? And I think that's the way that raises the overall resilience, but the overall level of life, if you will.